Son of Frodo Baggins and Permula Brandybuck, Frodo Baggins was born in the Shire on September 22nd in the late Third Age. After losing his parents at the age of 12 in a boating accident afloat the Brandywine River, Frodo would be orphaned and live with his mother's family in Brandy Hall of Buckland. Of course, as you may know, it is also around this time where Frodo would befriend Meriadoc Brandybuck and Peregrine Took, more commonly known as Merry and Pippin, respectively. At the age of 21, which, mind you, is younger than it sounds for a hobbit, Frodo would be adopted by Bilbo Baggins, his cousin, who he referred to as an uncle due to the notable age difference, and would live with him in back end of Hobbiton until Bilbo would leave for Rivendell. During their time together, the two would grow very close to one another, and Bilbo would teach Frodo a great deal about the history of Middle-earth in the Elvish language, and enjoy a great many laughs at the sight of Gandalf and his magic fireworks. In the year 3001 of the Third Age, 12 years after being adopted by Bilbo, Frodo would turn 33 years old, which is considered the coming of age for hobbits, and would celebrate this birthday with his 111-year-old cousin, Bilbo, at a party we see at the start of the Fellowship of the Ring. Frodo would inherit Bag End, as well as the One Ring, on this very day. On April 12th of the year 3018 of the Third Age, a now 50-year-old Frodo Baggins would be given the task of traveling to Rivendell by Gandalf, who is now certain the ring in Frodo's possession was indeed the One Ring that Sauron would likely be searching for. Before he sets off on his expedition, Frodo would sell Bag End to the Sackville Baggins family with the intention of purchasing a house in Crick Hollow, Buckland, with the help of Merry to lead the Shire with fewer eyes on him. While journeying with his friends Pippin and Samwise Gamgee, the three hobbits would narrowly avoid capture at the hands of the Nazgul, and would meet up with Merry at Bucklebury Ferry to cross the Brandywine River to get to Buckland from the Shire. The four hobbits would travel through the Old Forest and the Barrow Downs to circumvent another encounter with the Ring Wraiths. However, they would instead encounter Old Man Willow, a tree who despises all interlopers who trespass into the Old Forest, and the Barrow-wights, dark skeletal shapeshifters with cold and luminous eyes. On both of these occasions, Frodo and his friends would be rescued by Tom Bombadil. The first time resulted in Bombadil putting Old Man Willow to sleep with his singing, and the second with him causing the Barrow-wights to flee from the power of his voice. Shortly thereafter, they would arrive in Bree and would stay at an inn called the Prancing Pony. It is here where they meet a man under the guise of Strider, whose true identity is revealed as Aragorn and later King Elessar. Strider would gain their trust and help hide them when the Nazgul attacked the inn in the middle of the night. In addition, he would escort them to Rivendell and travel through the Midgewater Marshes all the way to Weathertop. It is here, during the night of October 6th, where Aragorn and Frodo, along with the rest of the hobbits, are attacked by the Ring Wraiths once again, but this time they are somewhat successful as the leader, the Witch King of Angmar, stabs Frodo in the shoulder with the Morgul blade. Aragorn drives them away with fire, and with the assistance of the Elf Lord Glorfindel and Arwen in the films, Frodo is healed by Lord Elrond once they arrive at their destination in the Elvish realm of Rivendell. Once fully healed and rested, Frodo would awaken to his friends Sam, Merry, and Pippin, as well as Aragorn, Gandalf, and Bilbo. Soon after, the Fellowship of the Ring would be formed under the Council of Elrond, half-elven, and, after much debate amongst all folk of Middle-earth, Frodo volunteered to be the ring-bearer and enter Mordor to cast the One Ring into the fires of Mount Doom. One of every race present opted to join Frodo, along with his friends, Aragorn and Gandalf, to form the Fellowship. The entire group consisted of Frodo, Sam, Merry, Pippin, Gandalf, Aragorn, Boromir of Gondor, a realm of men, Gimli, a dwarf of Erebor, and Legolas Greenleaf, an elf of the Woodland realm. Before embarking on their journey to Mordor, Bilbo would give his mithril chainmail coat and his sword Sting to Frodo for his arduous journey ahead. First, Frodo and the rest of the Fellowship would begin heading south and travel through the pass of the Caradhras and eventually through the city inside the mountains, khazad-dum, more commonly known as the Mines of Moria.
Sir Gandalf, you tried to lead them over Caradhras, and if that fails, where then will you go? If the mountain defeats you, will you risk a more dangerous road? You know what they woke in the dark of khazad-dum: shadow, flame.
After entering the chamber of Mazar Bul, the Fellowship would be attacked by orcs and a single cave troll. The troll would be defeated with the help of Frodo, however he would be stabbed by an orc captain, but the mithril coat given to him by Bilbo would prove its worth by protecting him from the blow. Eventually they would arrive at the bridge of khazad-dum and would be followed by the Balrog, Durin's Bane. Gandalf and the Balrog would duel on the bridge, and the two would eventually fall into the chasm below, giving Frodo and the Fellowship ample opportunity to escape. Despite being in a rush, once outside, they would mourn the loss of Gandalf the Grey, and Gimli would take Frodo and Sam to the Mirror, the lake of kheled-zaram. Following this, they would travel to the elvish realm of Lothlorien, where they are greeted by Lord Celeborn and Lady Galadriel. It is here where Frodo offers the ring to Galadriel, though she would pass the test and resist the temptation to take it. In fact, instead of taking, Galadriel would give Frodo something along with the rest of the Fellowship. Apart from food and supplies, each member would receive a gift, and Frodo would be gifted the Phial of Galadriel, the Light of Eärendil. This would guide Frodo in a dark time where hope seems slim. Finally, they are given boats to travel down the Anduin River for their trek to Mordor. The Fellowship would arrive near Amon Hen, which is in close proximity to the Argonath, and this is where we see Boromir attempt to forcibly take the ring from Frodo after he follows him. This would result after Boromir asks Frodo if they could take the ring to Minas Tirith, but it seemed as though Frodo was reluctant to do so, ergo resulting in Boromir attempting to steal the ring from him. Anyhow, Frodo is able to escape using the One Ring, and he soon discovers the Seat of Seeing. It is here where he sees the Eye of Sauron in his Tower of Barad-dûr, along with his legions of orcs. He is able to take the ring off before he is spotted, and decides that he alone will take the One Ring of Power to the fires of Mount Doom. However, one of his hobbit companions eventually joins him as he believes that he should protect his best friend with his life, and help him complete his mission to save all of Middle-earth. This would be none other than Samwise Gamgee. The pair continue on towards Mordor, traveling down the Anduin together. Frodo and Sam would make their way through the sharp and rocky hills of Emyn Muil. Here they would encounter Gollum, and after Gollum attempts to steal the ring, they would bind him using elven rope. After feeling pity for the creature, Frodo would spare Gollum and force him to swear allegiance and to act as a guide for Frodo and Sam on their way south to Mordor. Gollum would lead the two hobbits through the Dead Marshes as he had discovered a safe path to follow. Shortly thereafter, while still in the marshes, the three of them would narrowly avoid being discovered by a Nazgul soaring through the skies upon a fell beast. After this close encounter, they would finally make it through the Dead Marshes, but after wandering into Ithilien, a region in Gondor belonging to men, Frodo and Sam would be captured by several rangers and their captain Faramir, the brother of the late Boromir. So they passed into the northern marches of that land that men once called Ithilien, a fair country of climbing woods and swift falling streams. Faramir would take the ring bearer and his companion to the window of the west, Henneth Annwn. However, unlike his brother, instead of trying to steal the ring, Faramir would prove his character and allow the two hobbits to go free, hoping they would succeed in their mission of destroying Sauron's ring. After Gollum would deem it too unsafe to travel directly through the Black Gate, he offers a secret passage into Mordor, and the three of them would travel past Minas Morgul, the lair of the Witch King of Angmar, and Frodo and Sam would soon find themselves in Cirith Ungol, the Pass of the Spider, of course referring to Shelob, spawn of Ungoliant. This is where Gollum would show his true colors and betray the two hobbits, leaving them alone in the lair of Shelob to be devoured. Frodo would be stabbed by the spider's stinger and taken away to be webbed up and eaten later, though Sam would showcase his bravery and loyalty to Frodo and would face off against Shelob using Sting, Frodo's sword, and the Phial of Galadriel. He would wound the creature and drive her back into the caves before taking the ring from Frodo to finish the quest himself after believing his friend to be dead. However, after orcs come across Frodo's body and take him to the Tower of Cirith Ungol, Sam would discover that Frodo was simply paralyzed, and he would help his brother-in-arms escape the tower, and the two would begin heading towards their final destination of Mount Doom. Upon arrival, and while the rest of the Fellowship directed Sauron's gaze at the Black Gate as a distraction, Frodo and Sam would journey up Mount Doom for days without much food or water. Eventually, Frodo became so fatigued that Sam had to carry him on his back until they reached the peak. Just as they're about to finish their quest to destroy the ring, Frodo hesitates and begins to submit to the power of the One Ring. Sam would shout for him to destroy the ring once and for all, but to their surprise, Gollum would reappear and bite off Frodo's finger, the finger that, merely a moment ago, held the Dark Lord's ring, and he would once again have possession of his precious. However, the amount of joy the reunification would cause Gollum would lead him to his demise, as he would hop around gleefully until accidentally falling off the ledge into the fires of Mount Doom, destroying himself in the Ring of Power. Frodo and Sam would be rescued by Gwaihir and the other Eagles and brought to safety once the war concluded. On November 3rd, in 3019 of the Third Age, the War of the Ring would end with the Battle of Bywater and the Scouring of the Shire, when Frodo, Sam, Pippin, and Merry would all return to their home in Hobbiton. Once they arrived, they would find that the Shire was under the control of Saruman, under the guise of Sharky, and his ruffian bands consisting of half-orcs, dunlendings, and other hobbits working for the wizard. The hobbits, including Frodo and his friends, would emerge victorious after Grima Wormtongue betrays Saruman by slitting his throat, and Wormtongue himself is killed by several hobbit archers after attempting to flee. During the final years of the Third Age, Frodo Baggins would serve as deputy mayor and help rebuild the Shire. In addition, he would attend the wedding of Sam and Rosie Cotton, allowing them to move into Bag End with him, as well as finishing the Red Book of Westmarch, adding his own story to his uncle Bilbo's There and Back Again, titled The Lord of the Rings. During his final days in the Shire, and Middle-earth entirely, he would live in serenity, apart from feeling the effects of his wounds on an annual basis, as his shoulder wound from the Morgul blade pained him on each anniversary of the attack on Weathertop. He would also feel ill on each anniversary of being stung by Shelob. This would last all the way until Frodo was 53 on September 29th of 3021 of the Third Age, where Frodo, along with Bilbo, Gandalf, Galadriel, and Elrond, would sail off from the Grey Havens to the land of Valinor with the help of Círdan the Shipwright, who told Gandalf that he would sail on the last ship to the Undying Lands when the Age of the High Elves finally ended, ushering in the Fourth Age, the Age of Men. Finally, in the year 61 of the Fourth Age, Frodo would reunite with his close friend, Samwise Gamgee, and the two would spend their final days together in the land of Valinor, living happily ever after. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more Tolkien content, please let me know. Have a great day. See ya.